While staying in Toronto, police are investigating after racist graffiti was found in a subway car. According to a social media post, it was created by a woman who was with her child at the time. Let's bring in Natalie Callaghan. She's been looking into this story for us today. So walk us through what's being alleged here, Natalie.
Well, Michael, what we know is that this happened on Friday afternoon. It was a subway car in Toronto. It was the N-word that was written in the subway car. That subway car was tracked down, taken out of service, and police are now investigating. Now, that being said, we're going to show you a picture that's been circulating on social media, but I just wanted to say beforehand, this picture shows a person who is alleged to be the individual who wrote the graffiti. However, we have not been able to identify this individual, nor have we been able to ask them about these allegations. That being said, take a look at this. This is the Facebook post posted by Dionne Samantha Callaghan. In it, she said that she was listening to music, minding her own business, when she says this woman started pointing and ranting at her. She says her child was scribbling on the subway, and then the woman took the child's marker, wrote the N-word, and then pointed at Callaghan. Now, we are going to speak, in fact, you, Michael, are going to speak to Callaghan shortly, but we do know police are investigating this. We know the TTC is investigating this. Take a look at the TTC. Here is what they put on their Twitter. This is Stuart Green, who is a spokesperson for the TTC. He says that the train was vandalized with vile anti-black racist graffiti and a clear hate crime. No cameras were on board, and they have witnesses who have given descriptions to police, and they will fully investigate because, he says, Black Lives Matter. We know that they are working with police to try and identify the individual in this picture as also the individual who was described and reported to them. We know that police are looking into this, and we're hearing today from the mayor of Toronto. Have a listen to what he had to say about this.
With racism on display anywhere, whether it's with minors or older people or younger people, or, this is unacceptable. This is not the way we live. And so it's really why we have to redouble our efforts and, do many different things to bring about change, whether it's in policing or whether it's in just how we live together. This is not what Toronto's all about. Most Torontonians wouldn't dream of writing, thinking, saying things like appeared on the TTC subway car. And so we've got to get that message across and deal with the people who still spout this nonsense and just, make it very clear this is not acceptable in our city, and that we're going to stand up and fight it and eradicate it.
And Michael, of course, this comes at a time when there's a lot of attention being put on about racism and the awareness of racism and systemic racism, as well as overt acts of racism, both in the United States but also here in Canada.
Natalie, thank you.
You're welcome.
Now let's pick up where Natalie left off. As she said, Dionne Samantha Callaghan does join us right now. She's the woman who reported this incident on the Toronto subway, and she joins us now in Toronto. So Dionne, thank you for joining us today.
My pleasure.
You heard Natalie's report as she was telling us what happened, but I do want to hear it from your words. How did this whole incident unfold?
I'm just on my way home from working in a hospital as a frontline worker, and I just took a seat, basically facing this woman, and all of a sudden she starts pointing at me and ranting, and I can see that she is saying the N-word, and I chose to ignore her. I had my earbuds in at the time, and I couldn't hear what she was saying, but I could see the N-word being thrown at my face. I then decided to just look away and not engage with her. And then I looked up at one point, and she had taken the magic marker from her child and scribbled a message as she was pointing at me. She then gave the child back the magic marker. And when she did that, I actually just decided I'm going to take this woman's picture and let her know that I'm going to take this picture. So I overtly took her picture. She got up, picked up her child, pointed at me, pointed at the message, and the train door opened and she got off the train.
Did anything from your perspective happen before she wrote that message out marker, before she started mouthing the N-word to you? Were there any signs of aggression beforehand or words exchanged?
None at all. Like I said, I had my earbuds and I was listening to music, so I couldn't. I didn't engage with her at all. No one was engaging with her, so there was no precipitating factors.
Mm-hmm. So what did that do to you to know that you were targeted in this way in a very public venue? The subway is something that millions of people take in Toronto every year, and with the idea of safety on the subway, what did it do to you to be targeted in this way? Very
frankly, it shook me to my core. I was in tears. I have never experienced in my entire life an overt act of racism against me. So it did shake me. I can see the climate and what's going on in the world today, and I try to be active and educate my children and my peers and my allies. But still, it still shook me. I just couldn't believe it.
You know, when I was reading the story, obviously through these past many weeks, we've been seeing what people are writing, what people are sharing, and this idea keeps getting shared time and time again that racism can happen anywhere. And here it is happening to you as you're leaving a hospital where you work. Does this change your view of the city, of your safety in the city in this moment in time?
No, I don't feel unsafe. It's a hard pill to swallow. It's there, it's everywhere. It just makes me more aware.
Mm-hmm. You know, you posted onto social media. I'm wondering about the conversations that you're having right now as people are reaching out to you. What are they saying to you about this incident?
I have been surrounded with nothing but love and just a lot of wonderful support from complete strangers, as well as my friends, my chosen family. I have just been enveloped in nothing but love and support.
I don't know if this individual is listening to this conversation right now, but if she is, what would you like her to know?
I'd like her to know that this is not okay. You are raising a child in today's climate. This is not okay, and you will not get away with it. My understanding is that in the apartment building that she lives, she's been targeting people of color and been getting away with it. I want to say to her, it stops, and it stops now.
Dionne, I want to thank you for joining us today. Thank you for the time.
Thank you for having me.
And that is Dionne Samantha Callaghan in Toronto.